Let's start with a simple but profound question. What makes you, you? Is it the beating of your heart, the firing of neurons, or something that can't quite be touched, measured, or understood? You see, consciousness is what lets you fall in love, feel pain, remember your childhood, and wonder about the future. And yet, for all of our science and technology, consciousness is like a ghost in the machine, a mystery we can't seem to solve. Consider this. Every morning you wake up and it's like you step into a movie where you are the main character. But why does it feel like anything to be alive? How can a mass of cells in your skull give rise to feelings, memories, and awareness? Scientists call this the hard problem of consciousness. It's not about how the brain works. That's complicated, but we're making progress. The hard problem is why the brain produces experience at all. Why do you see red as red and feel joy as joy? How can something physical give birth to the non-physical world of thoughts and feelings? To understand how strange this is, let me tell you about a groundbreaking experiment that changed everything we thought we knew about the mind. Decades ago, doctors performed split brain surgery on patients with severe epilepsy. By cutting the connection between the brain's left and right hemispheres, they hoped to reduce seizures. But what happened next stunned everyone. When these patients were asked to perform tasks using each hand, it was as if their two brain halves were separate people. One hand would reach for a book, while the other pushed it away. When shown an image to one eye, the other half of their brain didn't even know it had seen it. Can you imagine what that means? It's like having two people sharing one body. Are you really one person, or are you a collection of selves living together in a fragile truce? Let's pause for a moment. You should read more about this experiment. Article link provided in description. Have you ever felt like you were at war with yourself? Maybe you want to lose weight, but another part of you craves junk food. Maybe you want to be brave, but part of you trembles with fear. Could this split brain phenomenon reveal why? Neuroscientist Dr. Michael Gazzaniga, who led many of these studies, suggested that our sense of self might be a story the brain tells itself to create unity from chaos. But what about those moments when your mind seems to leave your body altogether? Thousands of people who have come close to death describe vivid experiences that defy explanation. One of the most famous cases involves a woman named Pam Reynolds. In 1991, during a high-risk surgery to remove a brain aneurysm, her heart stopped, her brain activity flatlined, and she was clinically dead. But Pam later described hearing conversation, seeing surgical tools, and even floating above her body. Doctors were baffled. This wasn't some hazy memory. She recalled specific details. Studies show that around 10 to 20% of cardiac arrest survivors report similar experiences. If consciousness can exist without a functioning brain, then what is it really? Does it die with us, or does it go somewhere else? Many scientists argue that near-death experiences are just hallucinations, the brain's desperate attempts to make sense of its shutdown. But others aren't so sure. Dr. Bruce Grayson, a pioneer in this field, points out that people with no brain activity shouldn't have memories at all. Could consciousness be something more than the sum of our neurons? Now let's understand it through something even stranger: quantum mechanics. This branch of physics deals with the tiniest particles in the universe, things so small that they don't follow the rules of everyday life. At this scale, particles can be in two places at once or change when they're observed. That's right, the simple act of observing seems to alter reality itself. Some scientists, like Sir Roger Penrose and Dr. Stuart Hameroff, believe that our brains might use these quantum processes to generate consciousness. They argue that quantum vibrations in tiny structures called microtubules inside brain cells could explain why consciousness feels so different from anything else we know. But this idea has its critics. Many think it's too far-fetched, that we're trying to use quantum weirdness as a crutch to explain what we don't understand. Still, it raises an intriguing question. Is our consciousness connected to something deeper, a fabric of reality that we can't see? Have you ever experienced intuition? A gut feeling that turned out to be right? Scientists are still trying to understand how our brains process information below the level of awareness. Dr. Antonio Damasio, a leading neuroscientist, has found that our gut feelings often come from the brain, quickly evaluating subtle clues that we don't consciously notice. It's like having a built-in radar. But what if there's more? What if consciousness connects us in ways we can't fully explain? Consider animals. There's a famous story of a cat named Oscar who lived in a nursing home. Whenever a patient was about to die, Oscar would curl up next to them as if he knew. Scientists couldn't explain it. Was it a biological signal, like a change in smell, or was there something deeper, a sense of connection that we don't understand? Meditation. For centuries, people have used meditation to explore their own consciousness. But what's really happening when you close your eyes and focus inward? Brain scans show that meditation can quiet parts of the brain responsible for your sense of self, leading to a state where you feel deeply connected to everything around you. Tibetan monks who've spent years meditating often describe a state of oneness. Neuroscientist Dr. Richard Davidson has studied these monks and found that their brains look different from yours and mine. Their brainwaves are slower, more synchronized. They're living proof that consciousness isn't fixed. It can grow, evolve, and change. Now let's look at something even more ordinary. A simple pill. If you believe it can heal you, it often will, even if it's just a sugar pill. This is called the placebo effect, and it shows just how powerful our minds are. Harvard researchers found that even when patients were told they were taking a placebo, some of them still got better. That means our minds can influence our bodies in ways we barely understand. But let's not stop there. Imagine if consciousness isn't just limited to humans. There's a theory called panpsychism that suggests consciousness might be a basic part of reality, like space and time. This doesn't mean that rocks have thoughts, but it suggests that everything might have a tiny spark of awareness. Sound crazy? Maybe. But some respected philosophers and scientists believe it's worth exploring. And what about artificial intelligence? Machines that mimic human conversation, solve problems, and learn from experience. But are they conscious? Experts like Dr. Susan Schneider argue that we need to be careful. If AI becomes conscious, we might not recognize it. If consciousness can be created in a machine, what does that say about us? Are we just incredibly complex machines, or is there something more? All these questions lead us back to one thing. Consciousness is more than a riddle, it's the heart of what makes life meaningful. The feeling of holding your child's hand, of creating art, of dreaming and wondering. If consciousness is just neurons firing, then why does it feel like so much more? Let me leave you with this thought. When you close your eyes tonight, take a moment to reflect on what it means to be you, to be aware, to feel. Whatever consciousness is, it's the most personal, profound experience we have, and we're all on this journey to understand it together. If you found this exploration meaningful, join us on Universal Insights to keep uncovering the deepest mysteries of life. Share this video with others who love to wonder, and comment below with your thoughts. Let's explore the mystery of consciousness together.